Imagine this. A man so fast, he said he could turn off the light switch and be in bed before the room got dark. A man so confident, he called himself the greatest before the world even knew his name. And a man so brave, he fought battles not only in the boxing ring, but in the world outside it, where things weren't always fair. This is the story of Muhammad Ali, the boxing legend, the peace fighter, and the man who proved that believing in yourself can change the world. Welcome to Stage 4 Dreams, where real stories spark real dreams. This is the journey of a boy who turned hunger into hunger for greatness. Let's begin. Few figures in the world of sports, or even in the tapestry of modern history, stand as tall and as complex as Muhammad Ali. Born Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. in Louisville, Kentucky, in 1942, Ali's journey was shaped not only by his prodigious talent inside the boxing ring, but also by the tumultuous social and political landscape of mid-20th century America. As a young black man growing up in the segregated South, Ali was no stranger to the realities of racial prejudice, and it was this environment that helped forge the fierce determination and unbreakable spirit that would come to define his character. Ali's rise to boxing stardom began early, with a gold medal victory at the 1960 Rome Olympics. Even then, his confidence and charisma were unmistakable. But the road ahead was not paved with mere victories and acclaim. As Ali transitioned to professional boxing, he found himself not just fighting opponents in the ring, but also battling a society steeped in inequality and injustice. His refusal to conform, his outspokenness, and his pride in his identity challenged the status quo and unsettled many. His conversion to Islam in 1904 and the subsequent adoption of the name Muhammad Ali marked a pivotal moment. This was not just a personal spiritual transformation. It was a bold public statement of resistance against the expectations placed upon black athletes. Ali's embrace of his faith and his new name were acts of self-definition, a refusal to be shaped by a society that sought to limit him. In a nation gripped by civil rights struggles, his actions resonated deeply, inspiring some, infuriating others. In the ring, Ali was unparalleled. His style, described in his own words as float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, was revolutionary. He was fast, agile, and impossibly graceful for a heavyweight. His fights were legendary, from his upset over Sonny Liston to his epic trilogy with Joe Frazier, culminating in the brutal Thrilla in Manila. Ali's bravado, his poetic trash talk, his willingness to predict the outcomes of fights, all contributed to his mythic status. He was not just a boxer. He was an entertainer, a provocateur, and a symbol. Yet it was outside the ring that Ali's true fight began. In 1967, at the height of the Vietnam War, Ali refused induction into the U.S. Army, citing his religious beliefs and his opposition to the conflict. "I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong," he famously declared, encapsulating a generation's skepticism about the war and the broader struggle for justice at home. This decision came at a tremendous cost. Ali was stripped of his boxing titles, banned from competition, and faced the prospect of imprisonment. For nearly 4 years, the world's greatest boxer was denied the chance to perform his craft. Ali's stand was not universally celebrated at the time. He was vilified in the press, threatened with jail, and ostracized by many in the sporting world. Yet his unwavering commitment to his principles, his refusal to bow to pressure, transformed him from a mere athlete into a global symbol of resistance. His sacrifice was not in vain. The Supreme Court would eventually overturn his conviction, and Ali would return to the ring in triumph, reclaiming his place atop the sport. These years of exile deepened the legend. When Ali returned, he was not just fighting for himself, but for millions who saw in him hope, courage, and the possibility of change. His battles in the ring became metaphors for larger social struggles. The 1974 Rumble in the Jungle against George Foreman in Zaire was more than just a fight. It was a celebration of African heritage, a statement of unity and pride for people across the globe. Ali's activism extended far beyond his opposition to the Vietnam War. He spoke out against racism, poverty, and injustice wherever he found it. He traveled the world, meeting with world leaders, engaging in humanitarian work, and spreading messages of peace and understanding. His willingness to risk everything for his beliefs set him apart. earning him admiration from people of all backgrounds. As the years passed, Ali's role evolved. The brash young fighter became a statesman of sorts, a living symbol of resilience and reconciliation. Even as Parkinson's disease robbed him of his physical prowess and silenced his once booming voice, Ali's presence remained powerful. He became an ambassador for peace, using his fame to promote understanding between peoples and nations. In lighting the Olympic torch in Atlanta in 1996, Ali showed the world that true greatness is measured not just by victories, but by the capacity to endure, to inspire, and to forgive. Ali's legacy is multifaceted. He is remembered as perhaps the greatest boxer of all time, a man whose athletic achievements set a standard few could hope to match. But he is equally revered as a fighter for justice, a man who used his platform to challenge the world's conscience. He stood up for what he believed in, even when the cost was immense. He gave voice to those who had none, and in doing so, he became a symbol not just of black pride, but of universal dignity. The impact of Muhammad Ali's life is felt even today. His influence reaches far beyond sports, touching the worlds of politics, culture, and social justice. He showed that fame and talent could be harnessed for a higher purpose, that the greatest champions are those who fight for something larger than themselves. His words, bold, poetic, unforgettable, continue to inspire new generations to stand tall, speak out, and never back down in the face of adversity. In a world that is still wrestling with issues of race, inequality, and conflict, Ali's example is as relevant as ever. He reminds us that the measure of a person is not found only in moments of triumph, but in the courage to face hardship, the strength to endure, and the wisdom to forgive. Muhammad Ali was many things: a champion, a rebel, a peacemaker. Above all, he was a man who believed in the power of conviction and who showed us that one individual standing firm can indeed change the world. So what did we learn today? Even champions start with small dreams, sometimes stolen bikes. Words have power. Believe in yourself. Real courage means fighting for what's right, not just for a trophy. Like this video if you've ever thrown a pretend punch at your pillow. Comment. What's your favorite Muhammad Ali quote? Subscribe to Stage 4 Dreams for more legendary stories that will inspire your greatness. Because you don't have to be a boxer to be a champion. You just have to keep fighting for your dreams.